Hello everyone, Nigel here with you again, Nigel's Modelling Bench, and we have another Gaahleri item review for you today, and this is the Ambition series airbrush and compressor kit. So in this box, believe it or not, in this small box there is an airbrush and a compressor and a hose, everything you need to get started with airbrushing. In the description below this video there is a link to the Gaahleri website. If you follow that link, look at compressors. Okay, so go to shop, then compressors, and you will see at the top of the list under compressors it says GTS06. Click on that one. That will take you to three choices of this set. You have the EU, the UK and the US. Obviously because of different power systems in those countries, then they are dedicated to the country you live in. So go on there and click the add to basket. It's $79.99, so that's going to be what, £60, which is in my book a bargain, although it's still sealed. I haven't tried it yet. And if you use the code NMB, you will get 10% off your purchase, so that makes it even cheaper. So as you can see, this is still sealed in its cellophane. I haven't opened it, I haven't had a look. We're going to have a play and we can do it live and you can see how it all goes. And although, contrary to a comment I received in one of my last reviews, this is a review. This has been given to me by Gaahleri to review for them. But as you all know, with all of my reviews, I will always give you my honest opinion. And if something goes wrong, I don't edit it out. I show you. I've shown you now. I've had two airbrushes where they haven't worked when I first used them. One of them was the siphon cup, wasn't it? And the last one was the TG. It wouldn't spray. And then I just took the nozzle off and it worked again. I don't know what went wrong with that one, but anyway, so yeah, you get an honest opinion. I will never ever just say something's good just because I got it for free, just to guarantee me getting some more stuff. The same goes with absolutely everything I review, and the people that send me stuff for review, they know that I will be absolutely open and honest, and as a result, you guys, because you know I'm open and honest, a lot of you have commented on stuff in the past and said, well, if Nigel's saying this is good, it must be. Because, you know, there's some things where I've actually knocked the company, you know, all the time, and then all of a sudden they bring something out that's really, really good, and people say, if he says it's really good, then it must be. So, there we go. So we've got the new game Start Ambition series, and we can see on the back here we have a specification of everything. And you can see it all down there. I will actually put a screen up now so you can see the specification, but I'll look at what's on here. So we've got an air compressor with 7 pressure levels. We've got dual air outlets, so we can have 2 airbrushes connected together. Compact size, more space efficient for work areas, obviously. Ultra quiet, creating a comfortable spraying environment. The airbrush that's in here is a classic series CS36. It's got a 0.38 nozzle diameter, perfect for detail and large spraying areas. I agree with that, it does work very, very well. We've got Gaahlerie's unique 8 micro air channel nozzle, ideal for water-based paint, replaceable paint cup, precision manufactured for easy cleaning. So you can see we've got 15, 17, 19, 21, 23, 25 and 27 PSI. There's the actual compressor there, and here's the specification. We've got a 6 feet hose, it's 1/8 BSP, you've got a 1/4 ounce paint cup, it's AC 240 volt 50-60 Hertz, it outputs 12 volts at 2 amps, and the compressor dimension 7 levels, and the auto stop, so it's like my Iwata, it sort of goes and then stops when it's reached 18 psi or 27 psi, 18 at 1 to 3 and 27 at 4 to 7. So there we go. Right, so let's have a look what we've got in here in this lovely box. I do love Gaahlerie's packaging. They are always really, really nice packaging. How I pronounce Gaahleri, some people say Gaahleri, I say Gaahleri. I think if it was supposed to be pronounced Gaahleri, it would be G-A-L-L-E-R-Y, wouldn't it? Because that's how you write Gaahleri. So you can see in here, lovely instruction manual. So there's our compressor itself, there's our power supply, we've got airbrush holders, we've got the airbrush, the paint cup and everything. So let's have a quick look at the instructions first, as we always do. So again, we've got technical data. So we've got how to connect the power, how to connect the airbrush, buttons and indicator lights. So the on-off is in the middle, and then you've got pressure decrease, pressure increase, and then you've got maximum pressures. Okay, that's the lights telling us to put the paint in, or you can actually put the paint directly in the airbrush should you want to. And then telling us how to actually spray. We'll cover that when we actually get it out. Too thick, perfect, too thin. As I always say, I don't 100% agree with this. That could be you're staying in one place for too long. And that could be that you haven't got an air pressure. So, you know, it's not necessarily absolutely dead on right every time. How to clean it, airbrush cleaner, blah, 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 blah. Okay. And then how to actually take it apart. Okay, I'll show you that in a minute as well. And then the assembly order. All right, and then we've got all that in different languages as well. So we'll keep this manual to the side here just in case I need it. I've got a dirty cloth here. Okay, so first of all we have our little power supply, and then we've got our compressor itself. Get out, there we go. That's all wrapped in plastic. We have our airbrush. We have a paint cup, and then we have in here we have two airbrush holders. Okay, so we can put this box to one side. We're going to put the box over there. We'll grab our knife and we will cut through this plastic just to get it out. Yes, I am leaving the camera running so that you can see that everything is factual and I'm not trying to do things without you seeing. You see here it's got rubber feet on the bottom. That is to prevent, here comes Dottie again. It's got the rubber feet on the bottom. That is to prevent the vibration or reduced vibration. One of my viewers has recently got this and says they're very impressed with it, and they sent me a little review of what they thought. And Steve, that was. And I'm going to make my own opinions. So here we go. So we've got the airbrush holders there, so you can stick your airbrush in like that. Okay, so they are made of plastic, so may well snap over time, but to be honest, I mean generally you would use a cup anyway, an airbrush cleaning station to hold your airbrush. As always, these caps are extremely tight the first time you get them. They are a nightmare to get off. I need to try and find something. Let's use these scissors. I need to just find something to get in here and lever it off. Again, I'm not going to turn the camera off. Blimey, that's tight in there. Okay, we'll get it off somehow in a minute. Maybe I will have to turn the camera off. I'll have to go out in the garage and find a flat screwdriver. So there's our compressor. There's our power supply. So we can take the cable tie off there. I've just thought we haven't got an air hose here, so we must have an air hose. I'm just going to plug this in. I've got a plug here to my right hand side. So I'm going to plug this in. There we go. And then we can put the jack into there. You can see it's all lit up beautifully. So that's going to be on off. Okay, and then we can play tunes on it as well. Okay, so there must be an air hose in the bottom of the box. Where did I put the box? Yeah, this is there's something else in here. There we go. Beautiful packaging, as always with Gaahleri. Really do like their packaging. So the air hose is basically going to screw onto the front of here, like so. Okay, we can unravel it. I'm going to have to turn the camera off in a minute, guys, because I'm going to have to get Dottie out of the room because I don't want her in here when I'm painting. If I breathe the paint, that's fine, but I don't see why she should. The one thing that is lacking here is a water trap, so you may want to get yourself a water trap that goes onto the airbrush, especially if you're in humid conditions. But yeah, this airbrush, this air hose is going to be a pain because it's brand new and it doesn't want to straighten itself out. There we go. Let's try and, all I'm doing is just pulling it through my hand to try and get it a bit more flexible. Okay, so that's going there. Right, I'm going to turn the camera off. I'm going to get Dottie out of the room because, one, she needs to be not around paint, and two, she's getting on my nerves. See you in a sec. Okay, I'm back. Right, so that's, I've opened the window as well. So basically, we've got our airbrush here, airbrush in the holder on the compressor. We've got our cap there, so we're going to put this on. Oh, I've got to get that lid off, haven't I? I did actually find a flat screwdriver, so there we go. It's only the first time. You see, you put it on the second time and it will just come, you'll get it off easily. It's just when they're brand new, I don't know if it's because maybe it's warmer where they do this and the contracts in the cold. I don't know. But basically, it's no problem. I tend to not use them anyway. So that's just going to screw down into there. There we go. And that's bottoming out nicely on the seal, which is good. We've got the protective cap on the end. Okay, so first things first, before we get anything dirty, I'm going to show you how to clean your airbrush. All right, well, not how to clean it, but how to strip it to clean it. So basically, you've got this is a dual action airbrush, so you're pushing down and pulling back. So down is air, back is paint. Now this screw on the back will limit the volume of paint. Okay, you can see that if I push that lever here back, if I screw that in, you can see it's pushing that lever forward. So you can actually limit the volume of paint you've got going in there. That was loose, that's why that came undone. Okay, so if I have that like that, I can have it all the way back. Okay, or I can screw that in. Okay, so remember this is a budget airbrush, guys, so it's not going to be like the Rolls-Royce of airbrushes. So you can undo your stop, remove your needle, wipe it off, whatever. Be careful of pulling that out of there. Okay, and then replace the needle. Now a lot of people will say you should never pull the needle out that way or put it in that way. I'd rather do that than have that tear the seal at that end. On the front end, we've got the cap there, which is covering the end of the needle. We can just pull the needle back so it doesn't get damaged. And then here we've got the end cap. Okay, and in there, if I can get it out somehow, where's a cocktail stick? Here's a cocktail stick. If I wedge a cocktail stick in there, I should be able to get it out. There we go. Even though this is a budget airbrush, it's still got Gaahlerie's fantastic system where they've got these grooves going around the outside of the nozzle, and that gives even air going all the way around. Now, some would say it's gimmicky. I can actually see that it actually works myself. But, it is their little signature. So we'll place that in there, and then we'll screw the nozzle back on. Okay. So that's going in like that. Put the cap back on. You don't have to have this on for spraying, but it does protect the needle. So if you don't have it, you need to be really careful when you put it in the holder. If you've got this off and you bang it, you'll bend the end of the needle easily, even though it is plastic. The end of the needle, it's a very fine point. It is very fragile. So that's basically that. So if you want to clean your airbrush, that's easy. Or maybe I'll show you at the end how I clean it out. Okay, so we'll put this on here. As I've mentioned already, consider getting yourself a water trap because there is moisture in the air. So there we are. So that's our compressor, and we can turn it on, and you hear it shuts down. So we can reduce the pressure. For some reason, I'm getting no air. This is what happens, you see. think the valve is probably stuck. Let's have a look. Turn that off. We've definitely got air coming through. Something's not right here. I'm going to have to strip this airbrush and have a look. So I'll turn it off. Right. I'll strip the air. I'm going to take the airbrush apart and see what's going on. Hang on a second. I'm going to show you what's happened here. This was my fault. It's not the problem with the airbrush. It's my fault. So what's happened here? If you remember, when I pulled the needle out, this lifted and I pushed it back down in. On the bottom of here there is a plunger, and that plunger will push down on that valve. Okay, that plunger needs to go down into a hole. Now what we do, if we undo this screw here, I've removed the needle as you see, we undo this screw here and wind this out. Okay, all the way out. That little piece on the end pops off. Now you can see down inside there is a hole. You see, right, goes right down through. This needs to go. It's got a little chamfered cutout on the back. That needs to go rearward, and that little piston needs to go down into that hole. And all that stops this coming out is the needle. Okay, so it's quite awkward to do, especially if I'm trying to do it so you can see what I'm doing. There we go, it's gone down in now. You can see it sticking through the bottom. And I'll put the needle in the wrong way round here, just to show you that all that stops that coming out is the needle, but when it goes through, it goes into that slot. So now we need to put this back together. Now this piece here is going to pop onto there like that. Okay, so what we'll do is hold that there. Oh, this is going to be awkward with this thing falling off. Oh, here we go. Fun, fun, fun. Right, might be easier if I put the needle. In fact, no, I can't use that, it's too thick. What I'll do is put the needle in here backwards, loosen that nut off. I'll put it in backwards so we don't damage the tip. That'll stop that falling off. Okay. Now we can push that up through there, just like that, and you can see that tab. You can see how that goes up against there. It is quite awkward. Now generally with airbrushes that stays on the assembly, but this is, you know, it's a proper budget airbrush, so you know it's going to be at the lower end of the market, so there will be features on here that you won't necessarily find in other airbrushes, because it's made to a price, if you like. Okay, so now you can see that's working properly. So now we can put our needle in, push that through, tighten that up, replace the cap on the back. And as I say, we don't edit stuff out in these videos, we do it all properly. So now I can screw this onto here, turn the compressor on, there we go. So we're on 15, 17, 19, 21, 23, 25, 27. Okay, so we'll start on 17, I think, because I generally use about 18 psi. So what I would like is if these were reversible, because I don't want the airbrush, I don't want the compressor sitting on this side, because obviously if I put it over here, I'm going to have the hose and the wire and everything in front of me, so I'm going to have the compressor over that side, Okay, in fact what I can do is put the compressor right off the bench over here. No, I want to keep it on the bench, don't I, so you can see it. Right, Mr. Unprepared. So, piece of paper, I've got here, this is my Mr. Finishing Surfacer, black, which is what I use for priming and stuff. So we're going to pour that in there. Okay, and we'll put that down in there. We will wipe off the jar, put the lid back on the jar. Okay, and I'm just going to wipe off the front of that. There we go, so we've got our paint in there now. So then we can do some practicing on a piece of paper first. Alright, now as I'm going to show you some techniques now that, you know, basically what I show you every time I do a video. So what we'll do, first things first, try on a piece of cloth. There we go, as you can see we've got paint coming out already. Now what you don't want to be doing is going in and just coming straight back, okay? You want to be coming in and then push all the way down and then gently come back till you start to see the paint coming. Alright, if you do this, you can see what happens. You get a great big wet patch and it floods. Alright, so that's where you can actually use the backstop if you want to. So you can control how much you can come back. There we go. So now I can only come back that far. Alright, so now I can go okay, so you can go like that. Now you can get really in close and do some nice fine work. Well, the further you come away, you can see it gets wider and wider and wider and dustier and dustier and dustier. Another technique, if you are new to airbrushing, here's something, the first thing you want to learn. The first thing you want to learn is your trigger control. I show you this all the time. Watch this. If I do this, if I press down, get air, and then I pull back, I get paint. Okay, and then I let go. So watch, come down, come back, and then just let go. The next time I approach the model, watch what happens. Get a spatter. Okay, so come back, let it go. The next time I press it down, I'm not pulling back at all, I'm just pressing down, spatter. Get into the habit straight away. One of the first habits you want to get into is this. Go down, come back, do your painting, go forward and up. And then you don't get spatter. Push down, pull back, go forward, come up, no spatter. Go down, let it go, spatter. Alright, so there we go, and it's actually quite a nice little airbrush. It is at the budget end of the market, so it's not going to really get, you know, really fine lines, but you can see that we can get down, you know, and also if you wanted to spray large areas, then it's going to be good for that too. Okay, so just as a little tester, there's a little surprise for you. This is the palette that I'm working on at the moment. You've only seen up to part 2, but yeah, we'll get some priming done on here. We'll work on the bottom perhaps, yeah. So we can come along here. You can see I'm not going to stop the airbrush. I'm just going to keep going. Okay, and I'm staying about 2 inches away. I could come further away, but I'll get a dustier finish. And the lust, you can see I just keep going. I don't let go of the trigger. That's because we're reducing our, if we did this, then that's one way of doing it, but I would rather do that. I'd rather just go in circles, like so, and then I won't get lines and stuff. And remember, this is only a primer. If I was doing a finish coat, it would be different. I'm also changing the angle, so I'm coming out here, you can see, to make sure I get onto the edge of these bits here. I want to make sure I'm on an angle. Same there. Just keep moving it around. And as you can see in here, you know, for £60, approximately £60, it's $79, and you're going to get, you know, 10% off of that as well. So that's going to be $71. So $71 is probably about £55. So I think it's a bargain. And they are currently in stock in the UK as well. So there you go. Because Gaahleri, they do actually have UK stock. So get over there and order yourself one. I think it's absolutely lovely. Right, so there we are. Very nice indeed. As I say, the only thing that's missing is a moisture trap. And even I still got the habit of doing this and then letting it go, and then I get the spatter the next time. If you can't do that, if you cannot get in the habit of coming down, back, forward and up, okay, just make sure that whenever you start spraying off the model. Okay, so if I do that, if I do it on the model, I get spatter. If I do it over here, I get the spatter on the paper and then start painting. Okay, just like that. All right, so there we are. Get in there. See, it's great for getting in tight places. It's quite small as well. It's quite a nice little airbrush. As I say, it is basic. It's like one of these, you know. We may as well use this paint up rather than put it back. But it is one of your your more bargain type airbrushes. You can see now why I got Dottie out of the room, because of all this paint in the air. I don't want her breathing it. I shouldn't be breathing it either, but I've got to make these videos, so there we go. We'll pull that sprocket off. Get in behind there. We've got to do the same with the wheels. So there we go. We'll just get some paint in there. See, I'm pulling it all the way back now. As long as you keep moving, it'll be fine. Take that sprocket off of there. Get into there. Well, I hope you can see with this compressor, you know, you're not going to be waking up the household, are you, doing that? If you want to do some spraying at night, yeah, it's nice, very nice. Just going to spray the backs of these sprockets. That's the beauty of having the low air pressure. Just blow everything away. I'm not sure what it's like at 15. Yeah, absolutely fine. It's lovely. Great little set for a beginner. Absolutely awesome. So if you're looking for something to buy as a present for somebody who's getting into modelling, you know, everything is in the box. All they need is their paint and their thinners, and if they're using Viejo paint or something, then they need flow improver and stuff. But there we go. It's doing a lovely little job. I want to use up this paint that's in here. That's what I'm trying to do. There we go. We're pretty much done now. So there we go. So when it comes to cleaning, okay, what we're going to do, we'll put this mod to one side because we don't want to get any thinners anywhere. When it comes to cleaning, I have a pot here that I keep all my dirty thinners in. Alright, and I have two pipettes. One is fairly clean, one is dirty. So what I'm going to do here is get this one, just pick some dirty thinners up off the upper surface so it doesn't get the dregs off the bottom. And then with an old paintbrush, okay, don't ever use a nice paintbrush, just use an old one. I'm going to swirl that around in there. Alright, and that's going to clean that cup out. Okay, I splashed a bit there, not to worry. And then we're going to pour that into there. Don't ever spray it through, because if you have picked up some horrible dirty sediment or something, then you know, it's not nice to be pumping that through your airbrush. So you can see in there we've got some thinners left in there. I can just come along with a paper towel. Oh, come here and just wipe that out. Okay, so that's our paint cup cleaned. Then what I generally do, get a cotton bud, make sure the needle's pulled back, and just gently go in there and wipe out the paint, any excess paint or anything that's in there. Okay, and then what we can do, just spray that through anything that was residual in there. Then I get my Mr. Hobby tool cleaner. Okay, a drop of this. Any thinners will do. But I like to use the tool cleaner. Just put a couple of drops of that in there, nothing much. You can see it's barely filling the bottom of the cup up. Put my finger over the end, pull back. And what that's doing is pushing the air back through the airbrush, and it's giving it a good swirl round. And then I will spray that into my dirty cup. Alright. Okay, and then another drop. So you don't need to use too much. And what we can do, you can see now when I pump this back up through, it's still got a black tinge to it, but it's not as dirty as it was. Okay, and then again with my cotton bud, just get in there, swill out any thinners, wipe out the end. You can see that when I blow it, do the same again. You can see now when I blow that back up through, and when I blow it on the tissue, it's basically clear, so that can go back into the tool cleaner bottle. And that, my friends, is that. If you want to give it another wipe out, you can. Alright, the other thing to often do is undo this end cap, undo the needle stop, and just give the needle a wipe just to make sure, and then we'll put the needle back in, and that is it. Now sometimes you might want to do a deep clean where you remove all the seals, make sure you've got all the seals out, and soak the body. I don't like using ultrasonic cleaners. I used to be responsible for ultrasonic cleaners in my last job in engineering, and I've seen the damage they can do if things start getting, you know, rubbed together in the ultrasonic cleaner. So there you go, that's that. What a beautiful little set for what it costs. I mean, yep, my Iwata compressor is better. Yep, my Iwata airbrush is better. Of course it is. But for the price of my Iwata airbrush and my Iwata compressor, I could probably get 20 of these. So, you know, probably not 20, but honestly, it's absolutely great. For a starter, it's absolutely awesome. And then you can come along, you've got the massive range of Gaahleri airbrushes you can buy. You've got your Iwata airbrushes and everything. You know, it's lovely. I think it's absolutely lovely. And it's also quiet. I mean, it's not going to bother anyone. I think it's fantastic. Thoroughly recommended. As I say, the issue we had with it not spraying at the first was my fault because I had that plunger not in the hole. Kind of glad that happened in a way, because then you know if it happens to you, you know what to do. As I say, we've got a 0.38 needle and nozzle, so it's good for sort of an all-rounder. If you want to do bigger sort of 12 scale car bodies and stuff, you might be better off with a 0.5 needle. But you know, you can go and get yourself you know, a GHAD or a GHAC, or there's all the swallowtails and everything. There's a massive range of airbrushes, and they'll all fit. This hose will fit all of them. So and then you can go down and get yourself some quick releases as well. As I say, on here you have the second outlet, so you can undo that and have another hose on there. So you could have two airbrushes, so you can have one for fine, one for heavy, and if you're working a lot between the two, then just pick up one, pick up the other. Absolutely brilliant. If I were to make two improvements to this, I would make these out of metal, okay, and I would have them so they can swivel, so you can have them the other way around, because me being right-handed, I would rather be able to put the airbrush in that way. So if I could have it that way round, like that, that would be better. So maybe that's something Gaahleri would consider in the future. But I suppose I could do is always have the compressor that way round, and then it's the right way round for me, isn't it? Or if it's on the side of the bench, yes, it's even worse. If it's to my right hand side, then I need to. So, but yeah, other than that, if that's the only complaint I've got about it, then that's not really much to write home about, is it? So there we are. Very, very nice indeed. Very pleased. And thank you very much to Jerome for sending it to me. So there we go. That is the GTS06. It's the Serenair mini compressor. But as I say, when you go to the website, use the link in the description below. Go to the website, click on shop. Right hand side across the top, you'll see compressors. At the top of the compressors, it says, is it GTS06? You'll see it there. Yes, GTS06, and then you'll find this one there. Okay. So thank you for watching, and don't forget to use the code NMB. You'll get your 10% off of any purchase. It used to be one time only, but now it works every time. So there we go. I'm also very impressed with the these turn finish. They feel like they're actually metal. They do feel like metal buttons. It does seem very, very well made, I must be honest. It's lovely, and I will be using it in future, I think, because the thing is I haven't got a moisture trap. That's the only thing, but it's great to have it as a backup should my other compressor ever break down, or you know, whatever. Just have this airbrush dedicated to it and have it sat on the side of the bench. Pick it up for using on little jobs. Absolutely brilliant. Very impressed. Thank you very much, Gaahleri. Thank you for watching. See you all soon. Bye for now.